Sirach, chapter 26, and verse 5. There be three things that my heart feareth, and for the fourth I was so afraid: the slander of a city, the gathering together of an unruly multitude, and a false accusation. All these are worse than death. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakadash, for blessing me with the spirit to do this lesson. And I've done videos on this topic a couple of times about these teen takeovers, and how demonic they are and how violent they are. And yeah, this is one of those videos because being here in Babylon, I was speaking to a brother, one morning. I was coming from the plantation, and he was pretty much saying how when he was coming up, the youth was nothing like this. It was always things for them to do, and they was never out, you know, in droves, causing chaos and havoc and being completely violent, right? So he couldn't kind of wrap his head around why these YNs are like this. And I was pretty much telling them we living in the last days, and in the last days things were gonna happen. It was gonna be worse than what it was in past times. No, because you see these kids out here, man, all they want to do is fight, be rowdy, be chaotic, and a lot of people are getting tired of it because these teen takeovers are nothing to, like, how you get a group of kids that come around each other. They may talk about certain things. Some may talk about video games and other things of the world, but these teen takeovers, they're just to loot. Like I said, cause havoc, chaos, steal, fight. Sometimes people wind up dying. So like I said, people are getting fed up and tired of this, man. And sooner or later, this devil, he gonna he gonna unleash, in one of these teen takeovers, man. He gonna unleash his wrath. So we gonna play it. Matter of fact, let me get one more. We're gonna play it. Because like I said earlier, things are gonna get worse. This is Second Timothy chapter 3. I'm gonna start at 1 and I'm gonna jump. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come," meaning dangerous times, evil times. And that's the times that we're in. Verse 13. "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." And this was brought, and this is still going on because of the deception, the deceivableness that Esau Edom has pushed in the earth, man. Have given people this false image of freedom. When nobody's held accountable, then things are gonna get worse. Because people that do these types of acts, or whatever acts they may be, They figure there's no consequence, right? There's no repercussions. So they're going to act out even more. So, these teen takeovers, about 80 to 90% of them, they get away, until the next one. And these things pop up all throughout the country, man. Mainly in the major cities, right? Washington, New York, LA, you got them all over the place, man. Atlanta, So yeah, man, this is a thing. So let's play it. Yahweh Shem Shah willing, the elect be edified. Shalom.
Police are staying ahead of what is expected to be a teen takeover this Sunday in Inwood. This after one that took place last weekend in the same community.
Christy Kalishian hears from neighbors pushing back, saying the neighborhood has been neglected leading up to this.
Cars stopped and streets crowded Sunday in Inwood after the Dominican Day parade. This hours before police say a 23-year-old man was stabbed to death nearby following an argument.
They were dancing on top of parked cars. They jumped over into the property, my property.
This video obtained by CBS News New York shows members of the crowd trespassing onto her building's property, where neighbors say a majority senior citizens live. This all linked to what's being considered a teen takeover in Inwood. City officials say they've been made aware that another one is planned for this Sunday.
What we experienced in this part of our community was unacceptable, was dangerous.
Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, and others condemning what took place, saying it's not to demonize young people, but to keep the city safe until Chair of the Wahi Task Force on Noise, Tanya Bonner, stepped in.
But it's beyond a takeover. The reason that this is happening is because of years of neglect.
Longtime Inwood residents say what happened this past Sunday is only one example of what they've been experiencing for many years, saying that their complaints up to this point to elected officials have gone unnoticed.
And we have been asking them for years and years and years to fix this problem, to meet with the residents who actually are impacted and to fix the problem.
That is something for us to take back to City Hall and have a conversation. It is on us to bring back the feedback from the community and see what resources we can pump into our community.
For now, the NYPD says it is aware of Sunday's planned takeover. A spokesperson in a statement adding, quote, "We will have a police presence in the area and will continue to monitor information regarding the event." In Inwood, Christy Kalishian, CBS News, New York.
So, yeah, you heard it, man. And that might very well be a part of it because, like I said earlier, back in the days, even when I was coming up, we had a lot of things to do in the summer. You had the pool, you had, summer camps, you had summer centers open where we could play sports and, go play pool and we go on trips and things like that, man. But these kids growing up today, they don't have none of that, man, because this devil done took everything from them because he wants to use them to continue to make money by putting them in the penitentiary. But that doesn't negate the fact that when these kids come together, man, it is chaotic. And that scripture I read earlier about an unruly multitude, this is an example of that. They're hanging out of cars, yelling, screaming, jumping on top of cars. Sooner or later, they're going to start breaking into people's houses. They already loot stores, and this is in Inwood. I believe this is in Queens. I could be mistaken, but I believe this is in Queens. So what are they going to wait for that? And these kids show up by the hundreds, man. Close to 1,000 of these kids, they come together. They meet up on Facebook, and how do the officials know that they are planning for one this weekend? Because they have access to social media, and they're monitoring these things. So they can stop it if they want. This devil, he can stop it if he wants, but he doesn't want to stop it, man, because Esau Edom, he likes chaos. Through chaos, it brings him money. It brings him, what's the word? It brings him happiness because he can capitalize off of this. But this devil, along with 2/3 of our people, they gotta go. Because these kids, they you can't tell them nothing, right? You can't, get through to them. They believe that this is life. This is having fun. This is living to these kids, man. So, hey, man, the Lord is going to do something. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 9, verse 22. It says, let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain. Right? Because 2/3 of our people were born in vain, man. A 2/3 will act like a 2/3 in the last days. Not saying that the Lord, can't bring them to life by way of this word. But there is a 2/3, man. And they're going to be doing 2/3, it, SHIT in these last days. It says, and let my grape be kept and my plant. For with great labor have I made it perfect. And who's that? The elect of the nation of Israel. The elect is going to be doing what the Lord commanded them to do in the last days, which is preach the word, teach the word, going to, be doers of the word, not just hearers only. So, yeah, man. Let me get this last one. The classic. This is Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8. And we don't want to see none of our people put to death, but some of our people are just too far gone, and death is the cure. Right, Zechariah 13 and 8, it says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd shall be left therein. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, right, through the affliction, and will refine them as silver is refined, yeah, clean them up, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. So, yeah, man. That's 2 parts of Israel, that brothers speak on. The elect, they're all Israelites, but 2/3 are the Israelites that are going to be destroyed, and the elect is the part of the Israelites that are going to be saved on this side. So, yeah, man, this is an example of not the spirit to be in these last days, because things are about to get very, very crazy out here in Babylon, as if it wasn't already, but it's about to get even worse. So I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash, for blessing me with the spirit to do this lesson. The point was made. To the next one, I'm going to say shalom.
Wood after the Dominican Day parade this hours before police say a 23-year-old man was stabbed to death nearby following an argument.
They were dancing on top of parked cars. They jumped over into the property, my property.
This video obtained by CBS News New York shows members of the crowd trespassing onto her building's property, where neighbors say a majority senior citizens live. This all linked to what's being considered a teen takeover in Inwood. City officials say they've been made aware that another one is planned for this Sunday.
What we experienced in this part of our community was unacceptable, was dangerous,
Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, and others condemning what took place, saying it's not to demonize young people, but to keep the city safe until Chair of the Wahi Task Force on Noise, Tanya Bonner, stepped in.
But it's beyond a takeover. The reason that this is happening is because of years of neglect.
Longtime Inwood residents say what happened this past Sunday is only one example of what they've been experiencing for many years, saying that their complaints up to this point to elected officials have gone unnoticed.
And we have been asking them for years and years and years to fix this problem, to meet with the residents who actually are impacted and to fix the problem.
That is something for us to take back to City Hall and have a conversation. It is on us to bring back the feedback from the community and see what resources we can pump into our community.
For now, the NYPD says it is aware of Sunday's planned takeover. A spokesperson in a statement adding, quote, "We will have a police presence in the area and will continue to monitor information regarding the event." In Inwood, Christy Kalishian, CBS News, New York.